Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi. Bagi memastikan kelancaran majlis kita pada hari ini, sila pastikan telefon bimbit tuan-puan dimatikan atau berada dalam mod senyap. Okey, minta kerjasama bagi memastikan kelancaran majlis kita pada hari ini. Sila pastikan telefon bimbit tuan-puan dimatikan atau berada dalam keadaan mod senyap. Terima kasih. Announcing the arrival of Yang Berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Kadim Suhaidi, UNIMAS Vice Chancellor, accompanied by all the VVIP guests.
All guests, please be seated. Without further ado, please rise for our national anthem, followed by Unimas Gemilang song. All guests, please be seated.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera diucapkan kepada semua hadirin yang dihormati. Selamat datang ke Syarahan Perdana Profesor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun. Izinkan saya untuk bercakap dalam bahasa Inggeris. Selamat datang and a warm welcome to Yang Berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Karim Suhaidi, UNIMAS Vice Chancellor. Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Kamarudin Kana, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs and Alumni. Yang Berusaha Profesor Arkitek Nur Akmal Abdul Lago, Dean Faculty of Built Environment, UNIMAS. Yang Berusaha Profesor Arkitek Dr. Julaihi Wahid, Deputy Dean Research and Commercialization, Faculty of Built Environment, UNIMAS. Yang Berusaha Profesor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun, Distinguished Guests, Fellow Deans, Directors, Academics, Staff and Students, Member of the Media, Ladies and Gentlemen.
Selamat datang and welcome to inaugural lecture by Professor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun, hosted by the Faculty of Built Environment, UNIMAS. Thank you for joining us today. We are delighted to serve as Master of Ceremony for the inaugural lecture of a dear friend, a great colleague, and a wonderful mentor, Professor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun.
Professor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun is a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Built Environment from Department of Architecture, University Malaysia, Sarawak. A professor's inaugural lecture is a distinguished event celebrated by University Malaysia, Sarawak to honor the professional journey taken by our professors. Thus, this is the time for them to share their journey, philosophy, and experience with us.
Today, we have the wonderful opportunity to listen and learn as Professor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun recollects and reflects on his journey over the past few decades of making significant impact and meaningful contribution to the community and industry. Now established as a key leader in his field, Professor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun will shortly stand before us today, enlightening us on his journey and to deliver his inaugural lecture entitled Energy Efficient Building for Resilient Cities. Now, with great honors, I would like to invite Ustaz Mukhtar bin Muhammad for a dua recital session.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم. Wahai Tuhan yang Maha Pemurah lagi Maha Mengasihan, pada saat dan detik ini sesungguhnya kami tautkan dua tangan ini dan memohon kehadratmu agar Majlis Syarahan Perdana dikau permudahkan sehingga penghujungnya. Allahumma Rabbana wa Rabba kulli syai'. Ya Allah, jadikanlah hari-hari yang kami mulai dengan rahmatmu dan pertengahannya barakahmu dan disudahi dengan keampunanmu. Dan jadikanlah hari yang kami lalui permulaannya hidayah, pertengahannya kemenangan dan diakhiri dengan kecemerlangan. Wahai Tuhan yang memiliki kekuasaan, anugerahkanlah kepada kami kesihatan dan keafiatan sebagaimana mereka yang telah Engkau kurniakan kesihatan. Lindungilah kami keselamatan dunia dan akhirat kami sebagaimana mereka yang telah Engkau peliharakan. Justru kurniakanlah kepada kami ilmu yang bermanfaat, fikiran dan tindakan yang sentiasa waras, minda yang cergas, rezeki yang halal, zuriat dan generasi yang beriman dan berakhlak baik, serta berkatilah usaha kami ini sebagai satu ibadah. Allahumma ya syafi la shifa'u ila shifa'uka. Wahai Tuhan, anugerahkanlah taufik dan hidayahmu, kesihatan dan kesejahteraan yang berpanjangan kepada kami. Kukuhkanlah tali persaudaraan dan perpaduan di antara kami. Kekalkanlah sifat kerjasama dan bantu-membantu dalam pekerjaan kami agar Unimas amnya mendapat kemajuan dan kejayaan seiring dengan peredaran masa. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Allahumma ij'al jam'ana hadza jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'alillahumma fina wa la ma'ana wa la man yatba'una saqiya wa la matruda wa la mahruma. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin.
Thank you, Ustaz Mukhtar bin Muhammad.
It is now with great pleasure I would like to invite the Dean of Faculty of Built Environment, Professor Architect Nora Kamal Abdul Lago, to chair the lecture and to deliver the speech for today's event.
Thank you pada Master of Ceremony. Yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Muhammad Kadim Suaidi, Unimas Vice Chancellor. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Kamarudin Kana, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs and Alumni. Yang berusaha Profesor Arkitek Dr. Julahi Wahid, Deputy Dean Research and Commercializations, Faculty of Built Environment, Unimas. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Azhaili, Baharun. Distinguished guests, fellow deans, directors, academics, staff and students, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Pertama kali saya ingin merangkakan jutaan terima kasih kepada yang berbahagia Datuk Naib Chancellor di atas kelapangan untuk turun serta dalam majlis ini, dan juga penghargaan kepada pihak pengurusan tertinggi Unimas, bahagian penerbitan, pihak Unimas Corporate, pengurusan tertinggi fakulti, jawatan kuasa pelaksanaan yang diketuai oleh Profesor Arkitek Dr. Julahi Wahid, serta yang terlibat secara langsung maupun tidak langsung. Tanpa sokongan semua, mustahil ianya dapat diadakan pada hari ini. Untuk makluman semua juga, pihak kami amat berbesar hati dengan penganjuran Syarahan Perdana yang julung-julung kali diadakan, dan ianya merupakan satu penghargaan kepada pihak fakulti setelah 4 tahun penubuhannya. Suka saya kongsikan juga bahawa sehingga ke hari ini, fakulti telah melahirkan seramai 27 graduan program seni bina, dan tahun ini akan menyusul lagi seramai 25 orang. Tahun ini juga merupakan tahun pertama program ukubahan melahirkan graduannya, iaitu seramai 14 orang. Alhamdulillah. So diharapkan dengan adanya syarahan perdana seperti ini akan memberikan inspirasi dan semangat buat ahli akademik yang lain untuk terus komited dan cemerlang dalam memberikan perkhidmatan. Tanpa melengahkan masa, izinkan saya memperkenalkan penceramah kita pada hari ini. Profesor Dr. Azhaili Baharun is a lecturer at the Faculty of Built Environment, University Malaysia, Sarawak. Azhaili, the son of a soldier, was born on 27 April 1967. although his official record of birth date is May 20th. So remember, he has 2 dates of birthday. He was born at Kampung Dendang, Ketere, Kota Baru, Kelantan, and the eldest of 10 siblings of his family. His early education started at Sekolah Rendah Jenis Kebangsaan Ketere, later at Sultan Ismail College, and Sekolah Menengah Sains Machang, respectively. He continued his studies in UITM, Indiana University Preparation Program, before pursuing his Bachelor of Science with honors in civil engineering. In 1990, at the University of Hartford, United States of America. After completing his study, he worked as an engineer at various construction companies and later joined the Ministry of Education and was posted at Kuching Polytechnic, Sarawak in 1997. With his experience and knowledge, he joined University Malaysia Sarawak. After serving at the faculty of several years, he pursued his PhD at the Universities of Leeds, United Kingdom in 2002, specialized in energy in buildings. Upon returning from United Kingdom, he was attached at the Faculty of Engineering and served several appointments such as the Deputy Deans of Research in 2003, Deputy Deans of Academics in 2005, and Deans of Engineering in 2007. In 2009, he was appointed as the director at the Center for Renewable Energy. He is a very prolific writer and has produced more than 150 publications and books. As a supervisor, he has graduated 6 PhD students and 8 master students related to the energy and buildings. Through the years, his main research interest also expands from the area of energy and building to renewable energy and engineering management. He has secured grants from the Ministry of Energy, Green Technology and Water Malaysia, iaitu KETA, later known as the Ministry of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change, NESTEC, and the Ministry of Rural and Regional Developments, Malaysia, for the research and development in micro hydropower for rural electrifications of Sarawak. With his energetic and sincere contribution, his works and his themes are recognized and has won them off-grid power category Renewable Energy Awards 2017. Micro Hydro System for Sustainability Social Economy Activities in Kelabit Highland from Asian Center for Energy Base in Manila, Philippines. In 2019, they scored a national award in another micro hydropower project in Kuala Lumpur and later an international award category of grid power in Bangkok, Thailand. In 2017, with his effort and initiative, KETA awarded UNIMAS with a provisional certificate as a low carbon campus. While working as an academician, Professor Dr. Azhaili was entrusted by many consultant companies in Kuching. Particularly, he has been appointed to lead MSMA, Manual Saliran Mesra Alam, feasibility studies. So Professor Dr. Azhaili is also an engineer registered with the Institute of Engineers Malaysia, IEM, with a membership number of 36963, remember that, and BEM, and also a registered environmental consultant, Sarawak. So an AEM-CEM Certified Energy Manager. So we present you Prof. Dr. Azhaili. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Architect Nur Akmal Abdul Lago, for the remarkable opening speech.
Now, Please enjoy a video montage depicting Professor Dr. Azhaili's journey, prepared by the ICT team at the Faculty of Built Environment, UNIMAS. Main event. With great honor and respect, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun to begin his inaugural lecture entitled Energy Efficient Building for Resilient Cities.
Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everybody. Yang berbahagia, Profesor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Kadim Soaidi, yang berbahagia, Profesor Dr. Kamaruddin Kana, Deputy Vice Chancellor Student Affairs and Alumni, yang berusaha, Profesor Arkitek Nur Akmal Abdullah Goh, Dean Faculty of Built Environment Unimas, yang berusaha, Profesor AR Dr. Julaihi Wahid, Deputy Dean Research and Commercialization, distinguished guests, fellow deans, directors, academic staff, students, members of media, ladies and gentlemen. Today's topic will be covering in energy efficient building for resilient cities. The topics will be covered into 6 chapters or 6 topics. And then we talk about energy efficient building just now, talk about climate of Malaysia, and then comfort studies. And later on, we'll be covering on design strategy for Malaysian buildings. And we will wrap up the findings in the conclusion section. Okay. This one. Okay, for energy and environment, we talk about global warming. In 2015, United Nations SDG 17 SDGs in 2015, saying that one of the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, such SDG number 7, to ensure access of affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. So the juice of it is that energy is becoming more sustainable and should be widely available. That is why in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC in 2018, with 90 climate scientists from 40 countries over the world, concluded that global warming must be limited to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2040. If not, we will face devastating effects, especially on temperature rise. Okay, when the temperature rise, the water will be expand and sea level will rise. Okay, and then we will face extreme weather, and we have lots of climate migrants. Okay, of course, this contributes to poor health. okay, because of the heat exposure and children under nutritions. We have a disease related to climate change. And then we have water problem. Okay. Air pollution is normal phenomena that now why we are try to promote the use of electric car. And of course, related to climate change, mass extinctions and ecosystem collapse. Okay. And the other one is changing agriculture conditions. Okay, because of the heat being generated at some areas. Okay. And in the past 30 years, developing countries in Southeast Asia, including Malaysia, has witnessed the biggest number of natural disaster, with more than 90% related to climate disaster. In Malaysia, flood incidents have increased over the past 20 years, with losses exceeding 8 billion ringgit. Okay, we have floods recently. Okay, the effects are felt by all people, but most severely by the underprivileged. Okay. Low-income families and farmers. Right? So, what is Malaysian Action Plan in in handling this? In 2009, our 6th Prime Minister, okay, at the United Nations Climate Change Conference, Copenhagen 2009, promised to reduce carbon footprint emission by 40% by 2020 compared to 2005 levels, and later further 45% by 2030 compared to 2005 level. Now is 2022. What happened to 2020? Did we achieve that 40% of carbon reduction? Okay, one study just managed to get into in 2011. We managed to reduce 32.5% of carbon footprint. Okay, after that, they have problems in getting the information. So one of the Malaysia's greatest challenge in breaking out the carbon lock-in is related to, one, difficulty in transforming individual, number one. Number two is organizational behavior. We have problems in changing that. Okay. And Malaysia has made green technology as a mainstream ministerial portfolio in 2009 and followed by the launching of National Green Technology Policy in 2009, National Renewable Energy Policy 2019, Generation Development Plan to 2020, and we promise another bold pledge by Malaysia. We will go by 2050 net zero CO2 emission. Okay, during the time 73% is based on renewable energy for energy production for Malaysia. Okay, how about Sarawak? What did we do in Sarawak? Okay, Sarawak post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030 launched in July 2022. So this is specifically to ensure a clean and healthy environment for all by having policies on sustainable forest management, as well as adopting the new technologies and innovations to support Malaysia's commitments. So at the same time, in 2021 last time, we want to have Kuching Smart City Master Plan to be first developed with low carbon mobility, resilient, sustainable, and smart city infrastructure. Okay, so looking at these 7 strategic trusts, okay, trust number 4, optimize assets and human capital, with trust number 7, environmental sustainability. This is very much related to the topics that I'm going to talk about today. Okay, just to support these action plans made by our Premier and our Sarawak. Okay. For urbanization and climate change, over the last couple of decades, urban areas around the world have been engaged in a multitude of initiatives aimed at creating better environmental, social, and economic conditions and enhancing their attractiveness. Cities have been numerously labeled by planners and policymakers to be eco-city, low-carbon city, sustainable city, livable city, smart city, sometimes they call it digital city. Okay, Tan Sri Azman, on the last sharing session, he was talking about super city. Kuala Lumpur is one of the 50 super cities. But I tried to find in Google, what is super city. I cannot find it yet. But he has the ambition already, forward-looking, right? So we talk about city. Why city is so important at the moment? Because United Nations predicts that by 2050, 68% of humanity lives in city. And the city only covers 3% of the planet's surface, but will consume energy, 78% of the total energy of the world, and 60% of greenhouse gas emissions produced by city. That is why in 2016, the United Nations itself released the new urban agenda to advise countries on their urbanization process with the goal of making cities more habitable, inclusive, healthy, resilient, and sustainable. Okay, smart and sustainable city, right? It should be adaptable, reliable, accessible, and resilient. Okay, this is to improve quality of life in the city, ensuring economic growth, improving well-being, establishing environmental responsible, ensuring efficient service delivery, because smart city is about technologies, ketek aja, okay? And also, the cities would be able to handle climate change. Okay? So when we have cities, we have the development of cities. Okay, the effect of urbanizations, it will increase number of buildings, population density, this activity contributed to urban heat island phenomena. I learned this from Prof. Julaihi last time on this one, right? And I keep digging what's the information about urban heat phenomena. So because of heat release and GHG release, because the increase in urban temperature provokes an average increase of cooling energy load. Okay, SDG related to green building that I'm trying to, try to elevate the name green building, right? Actually, green building or green office, they comply to SDG goal. It's 9 SDGs out of 17 SDGs. Okay, 9 of it complies within the needs of green buildings. SDG goal number 3. Okay. Good health and well-being. SDG goal number 7, affordable and clean energy. Okay. Green Office complies to goal number 8, decent work and economic growth. It complies to goal number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. SDG number 11, sustainable cities and communities. SDG goal number 12, responsible consumption and production. SDG number 13, climate action. SDG number 15, life on land, because it enhances biodiversity, it saves water resources, it protects forests. And also the last one, it complies to SDG number 17, partnerships for the goals. Okay, between sustainable building and green building. Green building, normally they talk about society and environment. Okay, but when we talk about sustainable buildings, they cover economy factors on this sustainable building concept. Okay. Okay. When we have sustainable building, we have green building. Of course, should be yardstick to measure whether the building is green enough or sustainable enough. So the yardstick, the rating system components, and the weightage are different to suit the sustainability requirement specifically based on local and regional context. So one measurement cannot fit all. Okay, it's different between regions to regions. Okay, Malaysia. Okay, within our regions, we have a few yardstick to measure green buildings. Okay, we have the first one is Green Building Index, the first being developed in 2009. Okay, later Malaysian Carbon Reduction and Environmental Sustainability Tool, or they call it MyCREST, to measure whether the buildings is green or not. After that, you have Green Real Estate, or Green RE. And Melaka also have one, Melaka Green Seal. JKR, they have Penarapan Hijau, JKR. All of these are looking almost as the same component. They look into project planning and management. They look about site planning and management, transportation, water efficiency, energy efficiency. That's my topic, energy efficiency. Material and resources, waste, indoor environmental quality, and innovation. They look into these sectors, right? But we're going to use Green Building Index when we compare with other green building tools. Why Green Building Index? Not others, because Green Building Index is the first one, the oldest technology, and everybody's normally, most of the buildings in Malaysia, they use GBI. Okay. The first rating tool, okay, green rating tool has been developed by UK BREEAM. After that, US LEED in 1998. Okay. In 2003, Australia Green Star. In 2009, then is us, GBI. Okay. You can see all those four here, different parts of the world, they are looking into management, health and well-being, almost all like that, energy, transport, water, material, waste management, land use, ecology, pollutions. All these, sometimes they have 9 criteria, sometimes they have 7 criteria, but they are all measuring the same thing, right? And we can see here, UK BREEAM, they put energy as the first one, first priority. Okay, 19. Okay, out of 110. US leads. US leads ni, if you want your building to be recognized all over the world, normally they'll go to US leads certification. Even our hospital in Semenanjung, in Putrajaya, they go for certification US leads to get green rating for the hospital. I hope our hospital also is going for the green rating also, US leads. We have to pay something for them to come here. Okay, and US leads also put energy and atmosphere 39 out of 110. Australia, we go to Malaysia first. Okay, Malaysian Green Building Index, we put energy efficiency as first priority, 39. Australia is quite they play with numbers here. They play with components here. Although they put energy 29% or 29 out of 170, for which is below than environmental quality and materials. But when we sum up, okay, the energy, transport, whether put transport is related to the usage of energy, and emissions is related to energy. When they sum up which things that are related to energy, they still put energy as the first priority for green building index, for the index gathered for the buildings. Okay. So for energy efficient building, okay, why we need energy efficient buildings? Okay. So for report by Global Status Report for Buildings and Construction towards a zero emission by United Nations, okay, in 2020, say that building account for 38% of global energy related to greenhouse gas emissions. Okay. And also produce 40 to 50% of greenhouse gas emission globally. Okay. Problem with not energy efficient buildings, energy and gas emission. Both of them are related to climate change. Okay. Let's see a climate of Malaysia. How are we going to relate our building with climate of Malaysia? For Malaysia, the average sunlight per day is 4 to 8 hours. Okay, lot of clouds. The temperature, the highest temperature, day temperature of a year is 33 degrees Celsius. The lowest day temperature of a year is 29 degrees Celsius. Our fluctuate of what I call it, the difference is just 4 degrees Celsius. Comparing at night also 4 degrees Celsius also, 23 to 20 degrees Celsius at night. But we have high humidity. Okay, high humidity contributes something to the energy efficient buildings calculation. Okay, for thermal comfort, okay, MS 1525 in 2019 recommend for a working environment, the temperature should be around 23 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius. That is why government building at the moment, advise to set the temperature inside of a building 24 degrees Celsius. Okay? And the acceptable air velocity should be in the region of 0.15 to 0.5 meter per second. 0.5 meter per second is about 1.8 kilometer per hour. Very small, very tough. The speed is not there, just a draft. Okay. To strategize for energy efficient buildings, For cold climate, good building should have a good envelope insulation. Envelope ni sampul lah, keliling-keliling the building, right? The external wall, all those. The roof, okay, the foundations. Building shape, increasing the air tightness. Make sure the building is tight enough, but not to create sick building syndrome. In tropical climates, light structures with proper building orientation, roof insulation, solar shading, different glazings, we will have potential to reduce the energy usage a lot. Okay. In air-conditioned building, most of the energy used is for air conditioning. The second largest is lighting. The third largest in the energy usage in buildings is for pump and lift, if you have lift. And the last one is other equipment, is office equipment. Okay. The first one is air conditioning for comfort, for us to get the thermal comfort, to set the temperature within that range. Okay. So passive design strategy for Malaysian buildings, for our area, we have to avoid large aperture on the east and west, where it receives approximately twice the amount of radiation in comparison to north and south elevations. Okay. The configurations, building configurations, so better to have rectangular buildings. And the compactness of building minimize the surface area of the building envelope, resulting in the reduction of heat gain through the envelope. Okay. Building envelope and fenestration. Fenestration is what I call it, referring to openings in the building facades. Okay, should be glass windows, all those windows, and some openings. Okay. Roof, due to higher and longer radiant heat exposure, roof has to be insulated, and the construction material should have higher thermal resistance. Okay, when we talk about insulator, we're going to go, if go details, we will discuss on U value, is heat transfer coefficient, R value, material's ability to resist heat transfer, Y value, thermal admittance, but we're not going to go to that detail. Okay, so the findings is saying that, okay, the energy efficiency behavior of insulation in a roof, we have three types of roof. If we have 25 millimeter of insulation, it will help the most if we try to calculate between the return of investment. Sometimes we pay more, but we got less effect on the energy reduction to run the building. Okay, so for single-story building, roof contributes to nearly 50 to 60% loads in the total cooling load for a building. Okay, there are three types of roof normally in Malaysia. The construction in Malaysia, we have concrete flat roof, lightweight pitch roof with plaster board ceiling, and we have lightweight pitch roof with concrete ceiling. Okay, for wall and insulation, okay, if we have proper insulation of wall, we can reduce 20% or more of the cooling load for the energy in the building. Okay, the recommended thickness of insulation for per light is 60 millimeter. If you're using fiberglass, is 20 millimeter. If we're using rock wool, it's 100 millimeter. But for Malaysian condition, we don't need to have insulate all the external wall. It is advisable to have walls insulated on the east and west side, facing the morning sun and afternoon sun respectively. Kalau lah masjid, allow me to speak in Malay a bit. If you're on mosque, because we are facing to the west, isn't it? So the west side normally is hit by direct sunlight. Okay, for kiblat punya arah, we should have what I call it, insulator there. Okay, for fenestration, glass window, we have few technologies. We have double glazing, triple glazing, and single glazing. We have low E glazing. With the right component of the glazing, we might reduce the energy usage by 20% or more. Okay, landscaping is another component for passive design. If proper landscape, the landscape shadow the direct heat from sunlight to the window, definitely it will reduce the energy for cooling the building. Shading, shade by overhang. We have internal shading, we have external shading. External shading is better than internal shading because you stop the direct sunlight through the wall or through the glass window. Not to trap inside first and try to regulate the heat within the building, right? We stop before it entered the building. Okay, there is another factor about internal space layout. Some studies have shown it's better to arrange your internal layout between working area and corridor area. Okay, working area, of course, you need to have more comfortable environment, lower temperature, whereas the corridor, we just need, because our air outside, without the direct sunlight, without the, the radiant heat, is already okay. Okay, the temperature, air temperature outside is 28, 27, it's okay. Okay. And when we design the effective room depth to get the better daylight, because tropical country, we need to have a daylight to help us light of the area of where we're working. Okay, if from UBBL, okay, for illuminance level, okay, illuminance level, if we are at a classroom, we need to have 200 to 400 lux luminance level. Kalau kat tandas, if toilet, we just need to have 100 lux. Okay, not much to see there, right? Okay, this one is important for us because in Malaysia, and building in Malaysia, we have lots of air outside penetrate to the building, hot air penetrating inside, and we have cold air exfiltrate outside also. Okay, whereas for fresh air requirement, we only need 0.5 air change per hour. Okay, and it is based on an occupant density of 10 meters square per person to maintain good air quality in the building. But if we have air leakage already, the infiltration will give additional of 0.5 air change per hour. Okay. So active design strategy for Malaysian buildings. Okay, for the active, just now I talked about passive. Active design this buildings, a normal comfortable room temperature, we have to set between 24 to 27. Normally it's 24 is better. And the acceptable air velocity is around 0.15 to 0.5 meter per second. and we are advised to have zoning for our electricity. Each system should be provided with at least one thermostat. Installed power and energy consumption should be minimized by using more efficient lamps and luminaires. Okay, the minimum number of lighting controls for daylight is important. And also we have to have automatic control, because air condition at the moment in our office, sometimes we forgot to switch it off, right? So when we go to the, I'll try to sum up all what I'm saying there, right? So energy efficient building will definitely minimize conduction, convection, and radiation of heat penetrate into a building, especially in Malaysia. Better design on the building envelope, controlling the air tightness, having energy efficient indoor equipment are the key success for the efficiency in a building. Okay. So as Malaysia's economy has grown rapidly, new buildings and new towns are emerged dramatically. So we need to have sustainable and green building to maintain or to promote smart and sustainable cities. We look into buildings that surrounding us. Okay. Before this, Malaysia pledged to have the electricity for energy efficient buildings usage is 135 kilowatt hour per meter square per year. But we look at 3 buildings here, low energy office. Okay. The net BEI is just 100 kilowatt hour per meter square. Yang ni bangunan Kedah at the moment, is Mestek at the moment. The second building, we look at PTM, Zero Energy Office, ZEO. It declared in 2007, but in 2008, they cannot declare that one anymore, because they cannot be net zero anymore. They use more than they can sell. So they change into GEO, Green Energy Office. This one is at Bangi. The last one we look at here is Diamond Building, 85 kilowatt hour per meter square. We look at our place in Kuching. All right, buildings in Kuching. We have MBKS. We have DBKU. The glass is facing to the sky. Okay. MBKS, the window glass is being blocked. They have overhangs. We have Bank Negara, this I talk, and we have DON. Okay. We have Mahkamah Syariah, inverted pyramid. We have colonial, still have colonial buildings, white color. All right, floor to ceiling height, they maintain that height. All right, more than 3 meters, 3 feet, 3 meters. Sorry. And we have new one, museum. Okay, we have the old museum. The old museum, if there is no electricity, it's still comfortable to be there. Okay, tak panas. Okay, we talk about smart city. That we are aiming to have 38 cities in Sarawak to be smart. This one is town. One day we will become city, right? Do we have energy efficient buildings there? Do we need to have more energy efficient buildings? Okay, this is Cebu. Okay, so yeah. Keep wondering whether we can achieve to have 38 smart city in Sarawak. I hope everybody will support government to have these 38 cities in Sarawak, smart cities in Sarawak. So before I end up, periuk kera mekar di taman, menari sopan melurut kasih. Semoga bicara menjadi pedoman. Akhiri ucapan terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun, for the wonderful lecture. I believe the content that we have delivered today have elevated our understanding on the subject matters.
Moving on to our next agenda, we invite Yang Berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Karim Suaidi, UNIMAS Vice Chancellor, followed by all VVIPs to come up to the stage, accompanied by the Dean of Faculty of Built Environment, Professor Architect Nur Akmal Abdullah Goh, for an official book launching ceremony. We invite Yang Berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Karim Suaidi, UNIMAS Vice Chancellor, to flip the book commemorating the official launching. Now, with great honors, we invite Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Muhammad Karim Suaidi, UNIMAS Vice Chancellor, to receive a token of appreciation from Professor Dr. Azhaili bin Baharun.
I would like to invite the Dean of Faculty of the Environment, Professor Architect Nur Akmal Abdullah Goh, to present the signature from the Faculty. Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Muhammad Karim
Dari Samarinda, beli suasa di Azhaili, selesai sudah. Suel. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jumpa lagi.